Hello, our most developed student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our review of the Science N1 paper that was written on the 11th of February 2022. And in this video, I just want to give you a sneak peek of what happened in the Engineering Science N1. And as I said, this paper was written on the 11th of Feb. As you can see, it's a national certificate, and it is a 3-hour paper, as you can see that, and it was written in the morning. It says drawing instruments and non-programmable calculators may be used, so that's what you can use in the exam. This question paper consists of 11 pages and one formula sheet, so it's a 3-hour paper again, guys, and it's actually enough for you to finish this exam. And the mark allocation of this paper is out of 100 marks. Now I'm going to do a video to explain how they do the calculation, especially students who always ask, can you tell us about the term mark, or sometimes it's called ICAS mark, and how it contributes, or how does it contribute to my final exam. So I'm going to do a video. If you are interested in that video, you can actually give me a shout to say, please explain to us how the ICAS mark work. It's got a little bit of technicality. You just need to understand where does it benefit you, how can it be against you, and how can you ensure that the ICAS mark works to your benefit. So I'm going to show you that. A few instructions which are always important, but sometimes students they do take them for granted. You need to ensure that you go through all the instructions in the paper. Please, I encourage you guys, always read the instructions. That's why they give you that 10 minutes before the exam start. And the part that is I always emphasize, round off your answers. If you're not told, leave it to 3 decimal places. That's the first part. And number 5, I always emphasize it here to say, number 1, all calculations must have the following steps. So if ever you are looking at the steps that you need to do, first thing is identify the formula. Then in that formula, substitute the values in the formula. They'll give you a mark, and then the answer that you are giving with the correct SI unit will give you all your full marks. So remember that. And also, sometimes students forget you are given the value of G, which is acceleration due to gravity, which is 9,8. Remember, it's common to say 9,81, but the 1 is not there. It's just 9,8 meters per second square. And then whenever you're drawing, use a pencil, and then start each section on a new page. It's always important to follow such new instructions, just for neatness purpose. Of course, they're not going to penalize you, but they want you to be neat. Write neatly and illegible. Black and blue pen can be used in this. So what happened is, remember, Engineering Science N1 has got 2 sections, Section A and Section B. The Section A are usually simplified sections like one word, matching, multiple choice, those kind of things. So question 1 was one part, which is the multiple choice, and they bring in a few things in it. For example, here question 1 was on forces, question 2 was on the talking about the distance traveled, and then question 3 is about electricity. So they just bring a few things that they just mix up across the curriculum of N1, and then the 1.5 was on forces. And then motion was also on 1.4, where you're supposed to calculate what, I think it was the time. Say sprint runs 200 meters at 8 meters per second. How long means distance. Remember, speed is distance over time. Question 2, true or false, you see. Guys, never leave such questions blank. If, for example, you don't know, if they say the weight of an object increases with its height above the ground. Let's say you don't know the answer. Please, at least after you have finished all your exam and you're done, and you see that you left a blank on 2.1, what you need to do is just to guess. Actually, it's just 2 answers possible. It's either it's true or it's false. So you've got a 50% chance of getting it right. So please don't leave blanks in such questions. Even in multiple choice, if I go back to multiple choice, you can't leave a blank without answering that question. Even if you didn't know the answer, just give it an intelligent guess. In a way, out of 4 marks, you never know. Here you've got 25% chance of getting it right. And if you are good with such things of guesswork, or like these guys who play lotto, these guys who play these or like gambling, you can gamble yourself in here and you might come out right. You never know. And here, true or false, the chances are even higher. You've got 50% chance. Just give yourself a guesswork part there, and you've got a chance of getting it right. And then please avoid also some they just like writing like this T or they write F. Now if you want us to, sometimes students do this, they say true and then they say false, and then sometimes they scratch like that, they are not sure. And what we usually do sometimes, since you have scratched it, they will consider that answer. But if you say true or false and you just left it like that, they will consider the first answer. They still consider it, but they consider the first answer. If it's correct, they'll mark it. If the first answer is wrong, they'll mark it wrong. So be aware of such. You don't have to leave the marker guessing and all that stuff. So this was question number 2. You can check yourself out of that, but I will, as I said, by the way, let me reiterate this. Let me just pause a little bit. I'm just too fast. I just want to get just a quick review of this one. Part number 1, I'm going to do a full review of this paper, and then remember it's out of 100%. So I'm going to do all these questions, do the memo of this paper, and it will be available for the time being for premium members. So if you're a premium member, ensure that you're a premium member so that you can benefit. To become a premium member, it's simple. You go to our channel, you see where it says membership, you join the membership. There is a small monthly contribution. For N1, I think it's around 30 Rand or 39 Rand every month. If you want N2, it gets higher, N3. But if you are having, for example, as a premium member for N3, you are able to access N1 and N2 videos. So you've got enough background also for that purpose. So join our premium membership. It helps us to run the channel. It contributes a lot. So if you are benefiting and you feel like I just have to support the channel, you can do so through premium membership. It does a lot of support on this channel. So that's the first part. I'm going to do a full review of this paper. So the second thing I want to emphasize, remember, if ever you want to become part of our, as I say, if you want to subscribe to our channel, remember to subscribe to our channel and ensure that you turn on the notification bell. There is like a bell thing there, don't know, like a bell, which you can press it and it appears that you have turned it on. So ensure that it turns on so that every time there's a new video, we're going to send, you're going to be notified by YouTube. So that is that. Okay guys, so just going back again to question number 2, as I said, it was multiple choice and it was mainly on different things. As you can see, they're talking about the forces on 2.1. Here they're talking about the atom, and then here they're talking about the resistance. So you have to look at that. Now moving on to question number 3. Question number 3 was on matching, says column A with column B. So the column A and column B, so for example, if we can try to quickly look at this to say a physical quantity which has direction as well as magnitude. So direction only is scalar, but if it has both direction and magnitude, we call it a what? A vector. So now, how do you write that? You say in your answer book 3.1, and then you can just write the answer 3.1. You can put a dash to say it's a vector, it's F. You see how it's like? Or you can just say 3.1 like this. In question 3.1, then there is 3.2. So in 3.1, it's F. So that's how you just choose that to answer. So just be careful. Don't use this thing of saying 3.1 and then you're saying vector. You're just writing now the actual answer. They said choose a term from column B that matches a description in column A. Then it says write only the letter A to H next to the question number 3.1 to 3.5 on the answer book. So be careful of that one. Okay, so just follow the instructions. That's why students sometimes they don't follow the instructions when it comes to that part. So continuing there, question 4. Question 4 now is like we are filling in the blanks. Says complete the following sentence by choosing a word or words from the list below. Write only the answer next to the question number 4.1.1 to 4.5. As I say, guys, this is question 1 to 4. It's section A, 20 marks. You've got a good chance of scoring here. A good chance, because these are more like one word. They can be tricky, but in a way you can get such. Mostly it's definitions. For example, it says blah 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 is the rate of change of displacement. So what is this? Distance, which is displacement, change in x, which is, or change in s for displacement, over change in time. What is that? Distance over time, remember, is velocity. You see, so you can just check here and see, do we say there we have velocity? You see how it's like. So in here, just from the definition of velocity, so you know that velocity is the answer. So they are saying 4.1 to 4.5. So you write and say 4.4. At this stage now, you write the actual word velocity. You understand, guys? I hope you're getting this. This was out of 20. Moving on to the next part here. We have section B now. Section B is more of structured questions, and they ask you kind of some questions that need you to explain. For example, here it says a construction worker pushes a wheelbarrow full of sand on a work site. He moves in the northwestern direction for 45 meters. He then turns west and moves in another another 50 meters to dump off the load of sand. So it's determine graphically the resultant of the movement the worker has undergone. The resultant, remember, when I'm talking about resultant, that's the displacement. To say, first things you need to do is have your cardinals, so that you've got your north, you've got your south, you've got your east, and you've got your west, so that you say northwestern. So northwestern, you know it's in the center. Are you getting that? And then it says north, he moves in a northwestern, so this becomes your start here. He moved in a northwestern direction. You measure with your I'll show you how you do it. You take a compass, put it on your ruler, measure 45 meters. So you have got that 45 meters. He then turns west. So what you do here, again, this now becomes your new starting point. You have got your cardinals, you have your north, you have your south, you have your east, and you have your west. So from here, he turns west, which means he will turn into this direction, west, and moves 50 meters. So you've got 50 meters here, and then says determine graphically. Remember, you're using an actual sketching here. So they want this distance. If this was A, this was B, and this was C. So they want the distance now, which is AC. So you're going to measure that distance, and if you've done it accurately, you're going to get the marks. But remember the scaling, 10 meters to represent 1 centimeter. So here for 45 meters, you are going to say 45 divided by 10, which is equal to 4.5 centimeters. For 50, here it will be 5 centimeter for 50. That's what you'll be measuring on your ruler. You're measuring 5 centimeter and 4.5 centimeter. Whatever you measure here will be in centimeters. For example, let's say you measured it was 7 centimeter. Now the actual distance, remember, you multiply by 10, then it becomes 70 meters. I'm just giving you a rough idea of that, but I'm going to show you how you work on that. Then 5.2, again, it's similar. You are drawing. It says an aircraft takes 1 hour 30 minutes to fly from Uppington to Johannesburg. The displacement between Uppington and Johannesburg is 7.2 kilometers. Draw a neat labeled displacement time graph. See, we are having displacement is here. That is displacement. You are going to say, you write there, displacement. And then here, you're going to say time. Now, it's very important to give units. What is the time in? Here, the time is in minutes, if you want to remain it in minutes, or convert it to seconds. And the displacement is in kilometers. It's very important. So you're going to then sketch that kind of a graph. And then you to be able, remember they say the displacement, meaning it's a straight line that you're going to be drawing from the beginning, that is from Uppington to Johannesburg in a way. Alright guys, but I'm not going through that much. And then the next one is Bose notation. You're given that, then you have to use Bose notation to find It says apply Bose notation to the three forces that is in equilibrium. That's what you're going to use that. All right. And then the next question, as I said, I'm just going through the 6.2 also was still on the forces, and its continuation here on a lever system. Says calculate the mechanical advantage, load over effort, calculate the velocity ratio. You need to do that. And how do you go about that? Now come to the formulas. You are here on the formula sheet. It's very important for you to understand that. For example, there we get velocity ratio, a capital D over small d, mechanical advantage L over E, the load over effort part, and then that's what you need to be very familiar, especially with N1. I will encourage you to know your formulas, but as I said, I'll go through that with you. And then the next one is shows a lever with hinges. This one is based on determine the unknown force, is based on moment of a force. Clockwise moment is equal to anti-clockwise moment, so you have to do that one. And then a force of 320 Newton is applied at the end of a spanner. The length of the spanner is that. Calculate the torque you exerted. It's also force times distance here, but remember your distance is 200 millimeters converted to meters. And then your formulas here, let me just work done is force times distance. You see that one? And then I think that is the part says the force of that, the length of the span, calculate the torque exerted on that part. And then now we're moving on to 6.5. Okay, 6.5 also of three forces are in equilibrium. Determine the magnitude of the unknown source, force A and B, by means of the triangle of forces. Okay, they want that A and B. You're using the triangle of forces. This section is out of 13 marks. Question 7, guys. Here they're saying identify the energy transfer in each of the following. Now, if they talk about the energy transfer, you need to tell us what happened here to there. What happened here to there. So you need to give us from to, so that you get the 2 marks. If you give us 1, it will give you half a mark. All right, so that is that part. And again, 7.2, it is talking about let me see here, building material with a mass of 800 kilograms is being hoisted vertically upwards from the ground level to the 6th floor. Draw is a force distance diagram, again where you have the force here, force. Remember, units are very important, newtons, and you're using a ruler. And then here you have distance, and the units for distance, don't forget, it's meters. Then you have to use the scale that they are showing you here. 2 centimeters represent 3 meters, and 1 centimeter represent 1000 newtons. Then calculate the work done. Now work done, remember, it's force. Work done is force times distance, which is whenever you have drawn, for example, a diagram, or you have drawn a diagram like that, the distance under, which is, the area under, is what you'll be finding as the work done into that. So you can think of that. And then 7.3 here, it says the force needed to pull a caravan at a constant speed of 110 kilometers per hour on a level road is that. Calculate the power needed to perform such. Now you have to go to your formulas to identify power, which is power is force times velocity. Now that's the formula you're going to use here. Now velocity, which means speed, is kilometers per hour. You have to change it to meters per second, so you need to know how to convert this to meters per second, because the force already is in newtons. Otherwise, the answer that you're going to give your power cannot be in watts. Remember, your power units there must be in watts, so you need to be careful and sensitive for that. And then 8, draw a neat labeled sketch of a alcohol thermometer. They love this question. They love this question. Take note, you need to know such drawings of a thermometer, such as show the readings, show the bulb, show the mercury, okay, the alcohol or the liquid in, and then show the is the bulb, and then the readings. So remember to label it. If you don't label it, they're going to penalize you. It says give an example of effect of heat on each of the following: the color change, the change of phase, the change in composition. Also, these are questions that you need to apply your theory part. 8.3, 8.4, 8.5 was mainly on heat, And then question 8.6, pyrometer is what they are bringing in here. And then they are saying you need to label this part. You need to know this diagram so that, you can be able to, it says label the optical pyrometer by writing only the answer next to the question. So you see they gave all this part, so you need to label it. Question 9, give one property of each of the following phases, then solid, gas and solid. What effect will an increase in the heat on the particles in a substance each of the following phases, liquid, solid? Name 3 subparticles of an atom, draw a neat level sketch of an atom. So all these things, that's what they are asking on the atom. So you've got 2 sketches now that you're doing. The first sketch, I think in the previous one, you're sketching a thermometer. Remember that, guys? Alcohol thermometer is the key. Then this one, you're labeling, but here you're also sketching an atom. But you need to remember, actually this question is linked. It says name the 3 subparticles of an atom, the protons, which is positive, the neutrons, which are neutral, and the electrons, which are negative. Now when you're drawing here, you need to indicate all these 3, and it's good marks, 7 marks. It was a good way to score marks. Question 10 looks to be electricity here, the way I see it. Let me just check. It was on electricity. You need to identify, say give 2 examples of conductors, and then name each of the following symbols. You name that. And then this was mainly all on electricity here, so you need to do well on your electricity. And then says draw a neat level sketch of a magnetic field carrying a current carrying solenoid. I just want to emphasize that this question was mainly suitable for N2 students. It was not for N1. So somehow they will identify that that question was mainly at a level that is higher than N1. So give 2 examples of electromagnet. So they wanted to give you 2 examples there, and then the total is out of 23. So usually what I do is, if such a question like this is out of the scope, instead of marking it out of 100, you subtract -3, so it will be out of 97. They do such a thing so that they don't penalize students who were not prepared to answer such a question. So the grand total, what they do is they take section A, which was out of 20, section B out of 80, the total is 100. So this was the end of the paper, guys. I don't know if ever you wrote this paper, if ever you are preparing for your N1, but as I said, I'm going to do a full review. The first one, it will be a full review of the memo on this paper, so that you can just prepare yourself for the next exam. So it will be out of 100%, and then it will be available, guys, for premium members. So you need to become a premium member for you to get it first time. I will make it available later for everyone, but this is to appreciate those who are supporting the success of this channel. We will also encourage you to do that. Secondly, guys, remember to subscribe to this channel, and you'll be able to get new videos every time we post them. Ensure the notification bell also is switched on for that purpose. And then lastly, I said I'm going to bring to your attention what is a term mark in the next video. I want you to check it out. I want to show you the term mark, how it is calculated, and then why you must not rely on your term mark, and then or how you can benefit from it. Okay, so I just want to show you the term mark dynamics and how students sometimes end up getting angry because they ask themselves, but I did well in my term mark, why am I failing? So you need to understand how the term mark plays a role in your final mark. The term mark sometimes is referred to as the ICAS mark, the continuous assessment. Some they say the assignment mark, the term mark, anything that what you call the task that you're doing for you to get that mark is what I'm referring to. So see in the next video or the video that I'll post sometime when it talks about that. You need to definitely look into it because it will assist you. Now guys, we've come to the end of our channel. As I said, I'll do a full review of this paper, and it will enable you especially to come to prepare for your exams. I hope this was of benefit for you, and remember to subscribe, remember to share this channel, remember to also turn on the notification bell. We've come to the end of our section. Thank you.